So a friend asked me recently, are Christians supposed to inject everything with kindness? Which, if I understand them correctly, uh, is quite a nice way of putting uh, the Christian value of love and loving other people. It's quite a nice way of putting it, of describing um, the Christian, what we'd call the Christian call to love other people, and to almost unconditionally love other people. And this is rooted in, so this is true, yes, I would say, to answer their question, Christians are called to inject everything with kindness, not blindly, um, not blindly inject everything with kindness for kindness' sake. And this leads into a bigger conversation about love and what love is, and what I might argue for a later video, excuse me, is if love even exists, which I'm not convinced in its abstract form love does exist, but that's by the by for now. So, are Christians called to inject everything with kindness? Yes, they are, but not just for kindness' sake, not just for the sake of some abstract idea of love. So you see on social media a lot, you see people talk a lot about love. We need more love. Love will heal the world. Love, 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 love. Now, the Christian concept of love and of kindness comes from the idea that, again, as I said in video number 2 or 3, human beings are image bearers, and as that says a lot about us. It says a lot about our identity. It's very helpful and very extremely important in self-identity, in establishing identity, in staying rooted in an identity, an identity that's not rooted in something that's temporary or can fluctuate, but it's rooted in an unchanging God, is a Christian claim. Which means that our identity is unchanging, and not only is our identity unchanging, but it has an extremely high value to it because it's given to us from God. So if that's true for us, then that's very beneficial in how we live our lives and how we make our decisions. But it's also true for others too, and that's the harder part. It's arguably the harder part. It's very hard. It's very hard to have a positive self-image and a positive identity. I get that. It's extremely hard to do that. So maybe I shouldn't compare the two. But if I am an image bearer, then you are an image bearer too. And as an image bearer, I have to give you the full human dignity that an image bearer of God deserves. And this idea is rooted throughout the Bible. This idea that another person or the other is made in God's image. And as someone who's made in God's image, they should be treated and respected a certain way, and they should respect themselves a certain way. So in terms of other people, yes, we should inject everything of kindness because we're encountering something that's God made, something that's divinely created, and what this does is it's the great kind of equalizer between whatever a celebrity, someone who's very rich and somebody who's very, very poor, or people different. It removes the caste system, whether that's an explicit caste system in some countries or it's an implicit caste system in other countries, perhaps like our own. We're called to value everyone the same, not just because it feels nice and fuzzy, but because we're all image bearers of God. And this makes a lot of sense to me. In addition, Christians believe Jesus was the Christ, was the Son of God, and who made the ultimate sacrifice as an act of love for humanity. And this is getting a little intense, but it's still relevant to the question. Jesus Christ made the ultimate sacrifice of love towards us, and then calls us to replicate, to walk in his footsteps, and to love other people. And so you have the people on the one hand, and you have creation on the other hand. Going back to the garden, creation was meant to be good, was designed as good, and humans have a fundamental responsibility to love creation and to love each other. This is all because of X, Y, Z, like I just explained. This isn't just it's not just tied to some abstract idea of just being nice to each other, because that's kind of what we feel like we should do. And if that is true, then where does that come from? And this came up with the conversation I had with a friend a few years ago when we were talking about cleaners at the place I work, and he was saying how valuable they are, and I was asking him if he could actually account or explain why they're why they're as valuable as a CEO of a company. And I think, if I remember the conversation correctly, he struggled to come up with an actual tangible, logical, solid reason as to why they are. I'm not saying one doesn't exist necessarily, but I do think it can be problematic. I think that, yeah, need to give that some more thought. So do we inject? Are Christians called to inject everything with kindness? Yeah, of course we are. Do we do it? No, we're terrible at it. We're terrible at it because we get consumed and entrapped with the same temptations and the same lusts for things and ourselves as everyone else in the world. And as a consequence, we keep eating the fruit. We keep choosing to eat the fruit instead of trusting in God and self-sacrifice for another person. I think I kind of answered the question. Still haven't spent any money. That's a week now. It's 7 days. Spent no money. And I'm still getting up at sunrise. But one thing I didn't mention from yesterday is daylight saving time. So whilst I was getting up at 6:36, 6:34, 6:32, we had daylight saving time, and I'm getting up at 7:40. So a little bit of a savior there for me. Yeah, that's that.